everybody, Norma here, and today we're going to kind of have a small class type situation with lesson 1. So we have Dennis, and he has Zippy, and we have Ray, and Ray has Maddie, and I have Miss Army. So we're just going to run through the things that we're doing in class. That way you guys can just, if you want to go back, and it's a lot to remember. When we're in class, there's a lot of stuff to remember. So this way you guys will be able to go back through and just do it at your own pace and make sure that you didn't miss anything. So this is really lesson 1. And we're going to put all of this together. Our other videos concentrate on specific things, like whether it's leave-its or jumping or any of that stuff. Just go ahead and make her sit, honey, if she's doing that. You can have her sit. So the first thing that we're going to do is we always talk about getting your dog's attention and focus. Dogs, just like children, have to be taught how to pay attention. It's not something that they come with. So we do an exercise that's what we call basically hello. Whatever your dog is looking at is what they're thinking about. So if they're not looking at you and they're looking at another dog, or they're looking at a tree or a cat or whatever it might be, they're thinking about whatever it is that they're looking at. So the very first thing, and believe it or not, it's the hardest thing to teach a dog, is to ignore his surroundings and pay attention to what you're asking him to do. Any dog sports, whether it's agility, herding, competition obedience, whatever it might be, professional dog sports, we go work like crazy on attention and focus. So, you know, any dog professional knows that's the key to the engine. Once you get the dog paying attention in a variety of different situations, you can pretty much teach the dog to drive. But it's all about attention and focus. Pet people don't focus on this enough, and service dog people don't focus on this enough. And it is something that you have to maintain through the life of the dog. It doesn't hold unless you really stay working at it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to call your dog's name. I've got my clicker, I've got treats. I like to hold my clicker in my non-treat hand. So I'm very right-handed. So I will put my clicker over here in my left hand. We are going to say the word good or yes at the same time we click. Clickers sometimes are very awkward for people, but I want you to use your clicker so you mechanically train your mouth to say good or yes. So I am going to call her name. Now, even if she's looking at me and my cookie, Army, I click and I feed. Okay, I just move around a little bit. Even if she's looking at me, Army, click and feed. Okay, and you guys are going to do the same thing. Just move around a little bit, call their name, click and feed. Put the cookie right on Zippy's nose, and there you go. Click and feed. Okay, so even if you guys have to come down to your dog's face and bring it up to get your look, good. You just go through, move around a little tiny bit, and just call her name again, and put that cookie right on her nose. Put that cookie right on her nose and walk backwards with her. Say, come on, baby. Just walk backwards with her. There you go. And up towards your face a little bit. And I'll explain this in a minute, but just stick it right down there, up towards your face. Move back a little bit more. She's focused on the camera, so there it is. Good. Yeah, good girl, good girl. Nice job. Here you go, sweetie. Yeah, go ahead and try those a little bit. Okay, keep moving around back there, Ray. There you go. Now, we're going to work on that. Get your cookie low. Take off a piece, though, a little tiny bite. There you go. And up towards your face a little tiny bit. So up towards your belt buckle area. There, click and feed. Okay, so Dennis, watch me for just a minute. You're going to go, Dennis, you're going to go from here to here. Click and feed. Okay, now what's happening with Zippy is she's getting a little excited. There, click and feed. Good, and feed her. Good job. So move around a little bit again. So Zippy is doing two things. She's very interested in the camera in the beginning. There it is. There it is. Try to click before you move your hand. Okay? So the thing about the click is we're capturing the dog looking at the cookie. There it is. Click and feed. Okay, click first, feed second. Okay, so everybody does that, guys. We get in a hurry to feed because we're kind of like, here's the cookie, and then we might do that. Click first. So you get the attention, click, and then feed. You got to practice that. It's hard. Click, then feed. So it's like taking a picture of the behavior you're looking for. So if you're looking for that dog looking up, good. Take a picture. Take a picture. There it is, and feed. And I'll tell you guys why in a minute. And click and feed. Good job. So what we're doing is we're working on a couple different things, and this is where it gets a little messy, is that, you know, you've got a fresh dog or a new dog, and so you're trying to, it's kind of like learning to ride a horse when the horse has never had a saddle on. So it's a little complicated in the beginning, so it can be kind of frustrating. But we're working on what is called a bridge, and it's a marker, a behavior marker that tells your dog exactly what he's doing is what you like. So one of the things that all humans kind of do is we try to do this. Army, oh, that's such a good girl. That's a good girl. What a good girl you are. And we get very talky and very petting and hand. It's really hard to isolate behaviors that way. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reward her for just looking at me. So if I'm here with the treat, and she's looking at the treat, I totally get that. Kind of towards your belt buckle, good. That's what I want, right there. When you look at me and my cookie, that's it. Then I feed you. So I'm bridging the behavior of you looking at me with the delivery of the food. So if I don't use a bridge, and she's doing a whole bunch of everything, it's not isolating a very specific behavior. It speeds up training like crazy, guys. If you guys watch on Animal Planet, or I think it's on National Geographic as well, it's called The Zoo, and they do basically, I think it's Tampa, Columbus, the Bronx Zoo. There's several different zoos that they highlight. You're gonna see a lot of this training done as far as animal husbandry now. They teach these animals to offer behaviors to collect blood. It's mostly healthcare, sonograms, ultrasounds, all kinds of stuff that before they used to have to use anesthesia to do these. So it's a really good place to go and watch that kind of training, the same training that we're doing here. Okay guys, so again, what we're working on is we're just working on attention and focus. It is one of the hardest things to teach your dog how to do, because you're gonna do this where there's not a lot of distractions. So at home, on the porch, in the kitchen, wherever, very quiet, nothing going on. We want them to be successful. And you also can start, it depends on how you use their name and the environment that you're in. If you have children, I would really, really suggest not just working on their name for the dog to look at you. I would use a word like look, and teaching the dog that when you say look, that means you got to look at me, and when you do, you're going to focus on what I'm doing. So you can call your dog's name. So I can be like, Army, look, good. If you find yourself doing puppy, 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 puppy all the time, which some of us do, then the word look is a good way to throw in, this is exactly what I want you to do, and I'm not gonna ignore that behavior. So it's really important that your dog starts to just learn to follow you and your cookies around. One of the things that you can do, guys, is get your dog's bowl and go walking around the house with your clicker. Call your dog's name, click when he looks at you, give him one piece of kibble. Walk around the house with the bowl, click and feed. It gives you a great opportunity for multiple feeding sessions and using the dog's food as part of his training. So you're not just using treats, you're using his food. Once they get good in the house, then you guys can take your dog's bowl and go walking around outside the backyard. And you've got his bowl. Keep him on his leash because we don't want him running away chasing a squirrel. But it's kind of like if I were to just take his treat bag. We're talking about attention and focus with your dogs. So one of the things that you can do is use their dog food bowl. I don't have a bowl right now, so I'm just gonna show you with the treat bag. And I'm just gonna walk around, Army, and literally reach in here and feed her out of the bag. Army, good, hi. So is she begging? Absolutely. They have to, you gotta connect somehow. And there's a lot of dogs out there, guys, owner-trained dogs that you can stand on your head and strip naked, and they're not going to pay attention to you. They're busy about the squirrels, the trees, the grass, everything. We've got to get the key to the engine. The key to the engine right now is food. It's a very, very powerful reinforcer. Sometimes people get stuck on, well, all they're doing is doing this for the cookies. Yeah, but they're not doing it any other way. So let's get them going. You cannot force a person or a dog or animals to look at you. You know, there's a big difference between, you know, trying to force them to look and actually them looking. So this is an exercise that you're not going to force. So she's now looking at another dog that came in. So this is harder for her. So again, Army, yay, look at you. So distraction levels make a huge, huge difference. Start where there's hardly any distractions at all. Gradually build up until your dog can do this literally in the middle of Walmart. Class is a hard place to do this. They see their buddies, they see their friends, they want to go play with all the other dogs. So we're working on, this is what should be going on at home. Walk around your house with the bag of cookies. Click, feed, click, feed, click, feed. Get their bowl, walk around the house, click and feed. I want to put the follow me back in your dog. When dogs are puppies up until they're about 4 to 5 months old, they naturally will follow, especially their mamas, and then they start to get independent. We as human beings have a tendency to go towards the dog because we don't want the dog to get hurt. If we put the dog out in the backyard, it's go get the puppy, go get the puppy, go get the puppy, and we take the follow out of our dogs. You'll notice that people that are farmers or ranchers, the dogs follow them, they follow the trucks because guess what? In most cases, if your dog doesn't load up in your truck while you're working cows, the dog gets left behind. That dog learns very, very quickly to keep an eye on their person, keep an eye on their handler. That's what we're trying to do. Put this back into your dog a little bit. So again, guys, we're going to do this a little bit more back here. And all you guys are going to do is, again, call your dog's name. When the dog turns to look, you're going to say look. You're going to click, and you're going to feed. So let's try again. So wandering around a little bit.
Zippy.
Army. Good. Look.
Zippy.
Good. Put that cookie right on Zip's nose. Up by your belt buckle and click. There it is. Good. Right there. There you go. Walk away a little bit. Good. Look. Good. Okay. All right. Now the next thing we're going to do, on the nose, right up by your belt buckle. Ray, the same thing. You're going to get down on her nose and bring this right here to the center part of your body. Because so you want them to look at least where your belt buckle would be. Okay. So you're drawing them in towards you. Okay. This is totally going to depend on the distractions to how successful you're going to be. This can be frustrating because you can have a dog that does fantastic in your kitchen. You bring them to class and they fall apart. And people will say, if I have $1 for every time somebody has told me, but he does it at home, I would be really, really rich. They should be doing it at home. They should be doing it at home. It's hard in here. There. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is what if you get too close to a distraction? So if you guys will hold still for just a second back there, I'm going to use you as my distraction. So just be an anchor. You don't even worry about what she's doing. So I'm going to bring her over. Army, yes. Now, some of them, first of all, you have to realize that Army is more advanced than the other two dogs. She's had a lot more training than this, than these two guys have had. These guys are younger and all that other stuff. So she's been doing this a lot longer. Now, I want you guys to do the same thing. You're going to come into the middle, let them sniff, and then you're going to walk backwards and call your dogs. Okay, you ready? So here we go. Let them say hi to each other. Hello, 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 hello,
Zippy.
hello. And
Maddie.
call.
Zippy.
Huh? Good, yay, that's it. It's literally teaching them, get out of that, come to me, get a fantastic cookie. You want to do, John? You want to come in? Okay, John, that's it, nice. Okay, and make sure again you bring that cookie right to your center of your body. Okay, hold on one second. John, come around the back side, hon. Okay, guys, so we're going to come right to the middle, let them get a little distracted,
Zippy.
and call out.
Zippy.
Army. Good. Nice job, nice job. We're going to try that one more time. Again, let them get distracted until I have you guys walk away. Here we go, guys. Walk into the middle. Let them get silly, stupid, whatever. Good puppies. Hi, hi.
Zippy.
Call them.
Maddie,
Huh?
Maddie, look,
Yes.
look.
Good job.
No,
Now,
off, off,
there you go. Feed low.
off.
Go for a sit, Ray. Sit.
Sit.
Nice. Okay, now you're gonna see Zippy's excited, Maddie's excited. When dogs get excited, they will jump around. So we do have a cure for that, which is going for a sit, and we'll work on that in just a minute. This is a huge, huge exercise that people just don't do enough of. Do it on your 6-foot leash. Let the dog get distracted. If he wants to smell a tree, yay, go smell a tree. Call him away. The cat next door, call him away. The neighbors, call him away. People in your house, call him away. Start simple. So you might just start with a person just standing there. That might be enough of a distraction. If you get too big of a stimulus, too big of a distraction, your dog is not going to be able to deal with that. Now, if you're calling your dog and they're not responding, you literally have to get out of there. And that means just turn and go. You just gotta, if you have to pull your dog a little bit, that is okay. But as soon as the dog starts to connect to you mentally, you gotta praise the daylights out of them. So John, if John and I will just do this, John, I want them to be silly. We're not gonna call them. We're gonna gently pull them away. And as soon as they look, we're gonna click. You ready? So we're just gonna let them go say hi. Hello. Now just pull away. Yes, there it is. So you pull and move until the dog mentally lets go of what was distracting him. Now, sometimes you might have to do 25 feet of that before the dog goes, oh, you're still here. But as soon as the dog mentally releases from the distraction, you got a party. Best dog ever. Your treats are going to be determined by what kind of distraction it is. You might have to get cut up pieces of chicken. You might have to get cut up pieces of cheese. I don't care at this point. I've had people use the little Vienna sausages in the can. Nasty things, but dogs love them. And to get this started, you might have to do that. It might just, your value of that reward has to be higher than them staying and playing with another dog. Now, when you first start, maybe you don't have one of our dogs and you're like, okay, that looks great, but my dog's a nutball, which he could be right now. They all start at the same place. You might have to this might be as far as you get from the distraction. There are some dogs out there that I've worked at 25, 50 feet from a distraction and started there. So, if you're 20 feet from something and the dog can't manage that, get 30 feet, get 50 feet. You've got to find that distance from where the dog can deal with things. This takes time. These dogs have been doing this for months. This is the very, very first thing we do. It should be the number one thing that you work on when you get your dog home with you. Can you come to me when the neighbor's out? Can you come to me when the cat's around? Can you have to call them away from a lot of different things. Kids playing, bicycles, all of that, it's super, super important. This exercise really has to be done a couple different ways. There are people out there, guys, that will do this type of training with correction-based training, or compulsion training. Sometimes it's even done on an electronic collar, which I'm not 100% against electronic collars, but the dogs must know how to get away from the correction. If they don't know how to relieve that pressure, it can be a huge mess. So one of the things that we do is, this is like every time you get out of your car. Can your dog pay attention to you in a parking lot? Can they pay attention to you at a convenience store, maybe a playground? You have to see where the dog is at emotionally and mentally. If you correct the dog from this, the dog will learn to leave things alone, but he's only going to do that when he's got a collar and a leash on where he knows he's going to get corrected. And that's a tough thing, especially for a service dog. I want these dogs to do this because they want to do this, not because they have to do this. I want you to think about, if you are having a meltdown, I'm just going to be honest, if you're having a meltdown in the Walmart parking lot, the last thing you're going to be thinking about is how to correctly correct your dog without messing him up. You're having a meltdown. You just want to get in your car and get the hell out of there, right? So you need to be able to go, buddy, let's go, and have the dog connect with you and go. The dog will connect with you emotionally rather than, I have to do this because Sergeant Tim got upset and commanded me to get in the car. That's not what service dogs are about. So we want him to be able to, understand, you've got a problem, let's get in the car, buddy, we got to go. That's how your dog has your back, is by emotionally connecting to them. So again, we want the dog doing this because he wants to, not because he absolutely has to. So that is, to me, a big, big difference between whether a dog is working with children, working with somebody with a disability. Maybe you've got bad TBI and just some days are bad. The dog really has to be there for you. So this is how you connect with him, is let's, again, if the dog just does this as routine, it becomes a habit. There's a big difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is what we're doing. We do it so many times it becomes muscle memory, as opposed to a reaction to where it's correction-based, to where the dog has to think about doing it. I don't want him to think about it. I want him to this is what we do. And we do it every single time mom or dad calls us. This is the beginning of come when you're called. If your dog won't do this on a 6-foot leash, he is sure as heck not going to do it across your backyard, because he's going to look at you like, maybe I want to, maybe I don't. He's thinking about it. We got to get rid of the think. It's just literally go back to really some of your training. Some of your training is don't think about it, do it. Because if you think about it too long, there might be some pretty heavy consequences. So, you could get hurt, or people around you could get hurt. So it's kind of the same thing. I want this dog to just do it. So again, let's do it one more time, guys. We're going into the middle, and I want you to think about, we're just using this group of dogs as distraction. This could be a cat's. Okay, ready? Here we go. Right into the middle. Let him say hi. Let him say hi, and call him.
Zippy.
Army. Yes, good dog. Yay. Good job. Excellent. Okay. Please remember, this can be the squirrel in the bushes, the cat next door. It could be a bag of cookies on the floor. It could be anything that your dog needs to be called away from. This could be the person in Walmart that's going, oh, hi, doggy, hi, doggy, hi, doggy, which drives you crazy because people are supposed to ignore service dogs, but they don't. All you need to do in that situation is call them away. Just call them out of there. Watch your tone of voice. If you need to, whisper, because when this stuff happens, our adrenaline gets going and we kind of get commanding. The dogs get used to that, but the public doesn't. So if you get your big military voice going, it's kind of like, holy crap, that guy just yelled at that dog. No, that's the way that guy talks all the time. I'm okay with that, but try to do your whisper voice. It also teaches your dog, listen to me. I don't have to get a big voice for you to hear me. Dogs have amazing hearing. Better than all of us ever know. When I started doing sheep herding and the dog would do that crazy outrun and he's like 600 yards away from me and it's like he can still hear me, they've got good hearing, trust me. It's just selective like kids and husbands. No, I didn't say that. So it's wives are like that too, trust me. But it's all about, now you'll notice what's kind of going on here. You got a little more focus and she's relaxed, which is fine. Call her name. Walk away. Yes, there it is. Good girl. Yay. So you can even do that. You can wait till the dog's all relaxed and then let's go, dog. Pay attention here. All right, guys, we're going to stop there with your attention, but I want you to do 500 billion thousand, and please use food that is really reinforcing, and it's only for this. So if you're going to use something really yummy, it only happens at this time. If your dog is a breed that has a tendency to be non-responsive. And there are some breeds out there, guys. A lot of the Nordic type dogs or the Inu breeds. So you're looking at Basenjis, Akitas, Shibas, Samoyeds, all those kinds of dogs have a tendency to be a little hard to get their attention and focus. Hand feed them. If you have a pretty dominant dog, hand feed them. So all of their food comes from you, and it's basically you get their bowl out and you say, I've got it, pay attention. Oh, you didn't pay attention? Put the food away. An hour later, bring your food bowl back out. Get those dogs, some of those dogs are very entitled. So you got to watch, you're the servant and they're the king and the queen. So we kind of got to get rid of that for service dog training. So a great way to do that is walk around with their bowl. I had an Akita that I was show training that literally the longest dog that I've ever had not touch a piece of food, day 5. That's insane. Most of them, even really hard dogs, are 3 days. So here this dog would walk up and pee on me when I had a food bowl, trying to be dominant and trying to show me who was boss. So it was like, I didn't do anything. It was like, I have food. I have food. And if you want it, just look at me. Acknowledge that I'm in the room. Dog would turn his back. He'd scratch off where he would try to bury me with his hind feet. He'd do all kinds. He tried to growl at me. He tried to get up in my face and try to bite at me. He was a son of a gun. So literally I started with him in a kennel. So where I would, it's going to sound stupid, but I used like a big pair of tweezers to feed this dog. He was that dominant. After 5 days, best friend ever. Now I continued to hand feed him for the whole time that I had him, but he ended up showing and doing very well, and I never had a problem with him because he finally figured out that the guy with the food is king. So food is a very, very powerful reinforcer. So please don't think I'm bribing my dog all the time. Those of you that have been in foreign countries, impoverished countries, you know how important food is. The United States is spoiled. Most people never ever go a day in their life without being hungry, but there are people out there that don't have a thing in their belly. So food becomes very, very important, and it's definitely a pecking order. The king of the castle has all the good food.